Captain Elijah Hart had faced danger in every form: ambushes in the desert, insurgents in the mountains, and the cold silence of classified missions. But nothing prepared him for the frantic distress call he received on his final recon patrol in the remote forests of Oregon. A private helicopter had gone down during a storm. On board, Elena Sterling, heiress to the Sterling tech empire, known across the globe for her sharp business acumen and breathtaking beauty. Rumors said she never smiled unless it meant profit. But now she was lost, and the world watched as search teams failed one after another. Elijah volunteered. Not for the glory. For something else. Maybe a final mission before he hung up the uniform for good. He remembered the look on his mother's face when his father never came back from a mission. He had vowed not to leave anyone behind. He found the wreckage 2 days into the search, tangled in vines and hidden beneath fallen trees. Blood smeared the broken door, and bear tracks loomed nearby. But inside, curled up and trembling, was Elena. Her silk blouse was torn, her heels long gone, her lips cracked. But her eyes, clear, gray, defiant, locked with his. "You're real," she whispered. "I thought I was dreaming." Elijah gave her water, wrapped her in his jacket, and didn't ask for thanks. She didn't offer any. Not then. They trekked for days through the unforgiving wilderness. Elena, though delicate in appearance, never complained. Not when she twisted her ankle. Not when the nights grew so cold they had to sleep back to back for warmth. She asked questions instead, about war, about fear, about the tattoo on his forearm that read honor above all. Elijah, who rarely spoke more than orders and coordinates, found himself answering. Found himself watching the way her face changed when she laughed, soft and sudden like sunlight through leaves. Found himself caring. They faced a brutal storm one night. Thunder cracked, lightning lit up the trees, and a fallen pine nearly crushed them both. Soaked and shaking, they huddled in a makeshift shelter Elijah built from branches and canvas. "I never thought I'd die in a forest," Elena muttered. "You won't," Elijah said. "Not while I'm breathing." The next day, a mountain lion stalked their trail. Elijah scared it off with fire and a flare. Elena saw the calm fury in his eyes, a man who had danced with death too many times to fear it now. That night, she touched his hand and didn't let go. On the 5th night, as they sheltered beneath a rocky overhang, she asked, "You left the army, didn't you?" "Yeah. This was my last mission." "And after this? What do you go back to?" Elijah stared into the fire. "Nothing. No family. No home. Just silence." She turned to him. "Then maybe, don't go back to nothing." He didn't kiss her that night, but the look they shared was louder than thunder. They were found the next morning by a rescue chopper. Cameras flashed. Reporters surged. And just like that, Elena was whisked away, back into the world of headlines, high-rises, and $100 champagne. Elijah returned to his cabin in Montana. Alone. He spent his days fixing fences, cutting wood, watching the sun sink over the mountains. Until, 2 weeks later, a black car rolled up his dirt driveway. She stepped out wearing jeans, boots, and that same unyielding gaze. "I don't like owing people," she said. "But I think I owe you something more than just thanks." "You don't owe me anything," Elijah said. "Then let's start with dinner." Their romance bloomed like spring after a brutal winter. Elena taught Elijah how to cook risotto. He showed her how to split firewood. She brought him books, he taught her silence. Their lives, once galaxies apart, began to orbit one another. But paradise doesn't last forever. One morning, the Sterling family board arrived unannounced. Elena's father, steel-eyed and sharper than any blade Elijah had ever known, sat down at his cabin table. "You're a distraction," he said. "My daughter has a company to run." Elijah kept calm. "I didn't ask her to give it up. But she would. She'd give up billions. That's not love. That's recklessness." Elena was offered an ultimatum: leave Elijah or lose Sterling Tech. She vanished for days. Elijah tried to believe she would return. He went back to chopping wood until his hands bled. Then one morning, a newspaper landed at his doorstep. The headline: Elena Sterling steps down from Sterling Tech. I choose my own life. Later that day, She arrived at the cabin with muddy boots and a grin so wide it split the sky. "You gave me the strength to be free," she said. "Now I choose you." They built a life from scratch. Elena started a foundation for veterans. Elijah taught survival to local teens. They adopted a dog named Ranger. Winters were hard, but they had firewood and each other. One winter, Elena fell seriously ill. Fever, weakness. Elijah stayed at her side night and day. He read her poetry, held her hand, and promised to fight just like he did in the forest. When she recovered, she whispered, "We've survived twice now." In spring, Elijah took her to the riverside and asked, "Marry me?" She laughed, kissed him, and said, "Took you long enough." They married with just the trees as witnesses. Their daughter, Lila, was born the following year. As she grew, she learned to track deer, fish with her hands, and bake bread beside her mother. Years later, Lila asked, "How did you and Mom meet?" Elijah looked at Elena planting wildflowers and said, "In the wild, where real things grow."